Hello, this is Ed, and I do have some serious issues that I need to talk to you about. That is why I'm sitting at my desk rather than my armchair, because this is serious. The two topics are, well, okay. The second topic is kind of, I ain't serious either. Can we start over? Hello, everybody. My name is Ed. This is my armchair, and the smoking lamp is lit. Today, I am smoking out of a corn cob that I did a little stain, did a little kind of macrame type thing on it. And then the stem is a camo from Kilted Piper. So I kind of like it. And what I'm smoking is something that I think I'm the first one to ever smoke on the YTPC. It's an unknown brand, tobacco, Haunted Bookshop. I think I'm the first. What? No? Okay, anyway, I'm smoking Haunted Bookshop, which is new to me. And I'm going to have a little story to tell you. And this has to do with my dad. I'm kind of getting, I guess you could say, two birds with one stone. Because a little story about my dad, and it also becomes the VR to Kilted Piper's call. So let me start first by asking you, do you know what this is? It is a silent butler, an ashtray that you open up, put your ashes in, cigarette butt or cigar butt, I mean. Close it up, doesn't stink as much, but it also allows you to transport it without the ash blowing all over the place. Something similar to this, but bigger, was also in the old days used to put coals from your fire, put it in, and pre-warm your bed before you would go to sleep. A little bit longer handle, very cool. My family had one of these. My dad used it all the time. But we're going to talk about when my dad was a kid, when I was a kid. We lived in Charleston, West Virginia. And the house we lived in from the ages of about 6 to 10 for me, in a house that had a big porch out front. Off to the left of the house, we had what I called the weed field, but it basically was undeveloped parcel of just a plot of land. It was just weed, big weeds, been there forever. And right off of our porch, actually kind of impeding on our lawn, well, you couldn't get through because of it, was a big briar bush. So my dad, in that time, really mostly smoked cigars. He started smoking pipes. Actually, I kind of think about the same time I did when I got back from the Navy and started, telling him about pipes. And he already had pipes, but he changed to the smoking pipes, and he did that all the way until he was asked to not smoke anymore, which was very, very late in life. So he was always smoking. As I said before, my mom always had the candle up, lit when my dad was smoking, because especially at this house, this was the room where we had the television. Me and my sisters would be on the floor watching television. My dad in his easy chair, armchair, not this one, but close. It was my dad's chair. Nobody sat at it when he was around. You didn't have to ask. We just got up. He sat down, would smoke his cigars. So I always had this smoking around a lot. But what he would do is he would smoke a cigar, maybe two, every night. He'd be reading. My dad was an avid reader. Smoking his cigars. When he was done, though, he put the ashes, the butt, in the silent butler, and would walk out to the front porch, go off to the left, where the weed field was, the big briar bush, flick out the butt and the ashes out there. And he did that, well, for easily the 4.5 years, something that we lived in this house. And of course, he did travel a lot, so it wasn't like every day we saw him. Sometimes he'd be gone for a week at a time. But it was constant. Now, the reason I'm telling this story is one day, I was about 10. This was the last year that we lived in this house before we moved to Evansville, Indiana. I'd never been in this briar bush. I mean, it was quite big. And we didn't really have a pathway that went by that. It was a little bit more towards the back of the house. But one time I just happened to be kind of goofing off, a kid could do, right there. And I saw the briar bush, and I saw what could be kind of a little opening to it. So I kind of worked my way in and actually got inside of this briar bush. And this bush was went up and then out. So it formed a kind of a tunnel completely around it before the briars went behind me. So once in, it's like I was in. I can go around. And I will still remember, because that's why I'm telling the story, because it is something I still remember. I went in the back, went around to the front. The whole basically dirt ground was just completely filled with his butts of his cigars, wrappers still on them. I mean, it was a massive amount of tobacco just completely covered the ground. And I still remember that. The thought, because I guess you never think about, well, where did they go? Well, yeah, they went into the briar bush and worked their way down and filled it up. So that is a memory I just kind of like, with my dad smoking. Now, I know this isn't a pipe story, it's just a cigar story, but it's a dad story. And I thank you for listening to me. And next, anyway, you know. Anyway, this haunted bookshop, besides actually tasting pretty good, does make excellent smoke rings, you know? So on this Cobb Tuesday, I thank you. Remember to subscribe so that I know who you are, who's out there. If you don't subscribe or don't like, I don't feel for you. Anyway, may your smoking lamp always be lit, and take care out there.